Ireland is kind of on its own in my opinion, in terms of the rest of the world. Because everyone here, if you don't drink, you're a freak. Islam says you can't drink. Then if you drink, you're not Muslim, in my opinion.
But no,
you can finish.
So, well, pointless degree, you know.
Yeah.
Aziz, thank you so much for doing this.
No worries.
Thought that wasn't too much of a quick getting into it.
Good.
You're
That's way to go into it.
Yeah, exactly. You're a Muslim.
Yes, I am.
You're an Irish Muslim.
I am.
Yeah, because when I met you a couple of nights ago, your accent, you've obviously lived here your whole life, basically.
My whole life, yeah. So I moved here when I was 2.
Yeah.
And I moved from Saudi Arabia. I was born in Saudi Arabia.
Sweet.
So my mom is actually from Saudi Arabia, and my dad's actually Egyptian.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it is a strange blend, to be honest with you. That's what they say over there, anyway.
Strange blend as in Egyptian, Saudi Arabian, and
it wouldn't be common, yeah. It wouldn't be common to have an Egyptian and Saudi Arabian coming together,
sweet.
to be honest.
But what's it like being a Muslim in Ireland?
Do you know what? I think I feel like it's probably changed over the time. So once when I was younger, obviously you wouldn't really notice it, but then when I got older, you kind of notice in certain environments you're kind of judged, I think, more differently than others.
Yeah, no.
But you kind of get on with it. I mean, in what way? I mean, for example, I'm a football coach, okay? So when I coach my football team, there's certain people, other managers, that feel like kind of look at me different. I feel like, that's just my opinion.
Wow, just an energetic thing.
Kind of an energetic thing, exactly.
It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's there.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And on top of it as well, I feel like even in college or school, if you look at it, kind of like social groups kind of go together. So say, for example, the Indians would stick together, Chinese would stick together, the Irish, the lads from Blackrock would be at the back of the class together. And then kind of me in between them all, do you know what I mean? Because I don't really know where I belong. Do I belong with the Chinese? Do I belong with the Indian? Do I belong with the lads from Blackrock? Because I've been here all my life. But naturally, I don't look like.
So, like being a Muslim, like how does that come about? Like how is that? What's the word? How can I see that in your life? As in, like, do you pray every day?
So 5 times a day.
You pray 5 times a day?
Pray 5 times a day, exactly.
Wow, yeah.
The biggest one is Ramadan. Now Ramadan is huge in Islam. That is a must every single day. It's one of the biggest sins if you don't do it. So Ramadan is, you fast all day between sunset and sunrise. So for example, it obviously varies which country you're in. So say here, the difference, especially towards the summer, is huge. Like, I mean, the sunlight hours, I don't know how much it is, 19, 20 hours.
Well,
so you only have a window of 5 hours where you can eat and drink. So it would be huge, and you have to do that early.
Yeah.
Compared to kind of Saudi Arabia, when I fast over there, it's only about 8, 9 hours. It's much easier.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that it's handy enough in that sense, but that's huge. And then Mecca, the pilgrimage is Hajj, and Hajj has to be done at least once if you're physically and financially able to do it. But if you are, which is the majority of Muslims around the world, then it is a must. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
As well.
Have you read the Quran and stuff?
Yeah, no, I have, but my Arabic, to be honest, I've lost over the years, so I'm reading an English version, but it's the exact same.
So do your parents speak Arabic then?
Yeah.
Oh.
I speak Arabic in fairness, but my reading isn't as good as how I speak it, to be honest. I'm fluent at speaking. My reading, I'd say, is intermediate.
Yeah. So in terms of like issues like women in Islam, like, so what's women's place in Islam?
Do you know what?
In life, in society, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's such an odd question, to be honest. And I get that a lot, if you don't mind me saying. No, I do. Because obviously they're portrayed, women, especially in Islam, as being, if I can say, second-class citizens. Yeah. And that's just not true. From my view, it's not. I think you have to kind of distinctively segregate women in different kind of countries that are Muslim. So say, for example, a woman in the United Arab Emirates or in Qatar, they're, from my experience, treated exactly how they're being treated here in Ireland. There is no kind of derogatory view of them. Saudi Arabia is the one. It is the one. No doubt. Where there is because it's the home of Islam, everybody thinks that the way they're treated in Saudi Arabia represents kind of Islam, if you like.
Yeah, okay.
If you know what I mean. No, definitely not. In Saudi Arabia, they couldn't drive up to a recent date,
Okay.
which is a joke.
And why? What happened that changed? You
So
don't- do you know, or-
yeah. So the king,
Yeah.
the new king, it's Prince Salman. He's young.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. The royal family used to be very, very old, and they used to obviously inherit it. And there was kind of now a big change with the next one with Salman because he's much younger.
Yeah.
There's been much more kind of radical, a younger view, a Western view of it, if you know
More
what I
liberal.
mean. More liberal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that he's been the one who's changed
changed
everything.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, though, the priests, which are called the imams in Saudi Arabia, aren't happy with it. They're not happy with the change. They're more old Western. No, sorry, what am I saying? The old kind of views.
Are the women happy with the change?
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. They can, like I said, now they can drive, they can vote. They have much more rights, obviously. But it's in my opinion, it'll take about 10 years in Saudi Arabia in particular to catch up.
And what can't they do still?
So what can't they do at the moment is probably certain jobs. That's the big one.
Right.
That
Okay.
they won't be allowed.
Yeah.
Obviously here you can work anything, but in Saudi Arabia there's certain jobs and certain occupations that they actually won't be able to even apply for.
Wow.
Like, I mean, cinemas used to be banned in Saudi Arabia. Would you believe that? Cinemas. They weren't allowed cinemas up to 2 months ago. I mean, it's unbelievable.
What's wrong with it?
Do you know
Up
what I
to
mean?
2 months
2
ago.
months ago. They
What's wrong with
opened the
cinemas?
very first cinema 2 months ago. I was over there in the summer and I watched the very first film over there.
Wow.
Absolute joke. Do you know, I feel like
did you watch?
sometimes
What did you watch?
oh, it was some gun film. What was it? Can't remember the name, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable, and there was actually, it's still kind of blocked out certain scenes because it was in 18s, and there's some in Saudi Arabia. There's some views that they can't show their body parts, obviously.
Mm.
And
Women.
women.
Yes.
And
Yeah, so
some
that
of the
brings us
stuff
on to the
like
burqa and
Yeah.
or the hijab, or
Yeah.
I don't know. You can explain the
Yeah.
difference maybe, but
Yeah.
what's that for? And
So I think there's a difference between them. Obviously, the burqa, like I said to you, is obviously the whole kind of out.
just the eyes.
Yeah,
left.
exactly, just the eyes left, and then the hijab is the headscarf.
Okay. Yeah.
So long time ago, the clerks, if you like, in Saudi Arabia, disagreed about should it be the hijab, should it be the burqa.
Right.
But there has to be, women have to cover, in Islam it says women have to cover at least their heads.
Right.
And it
okay.
was the clerks who kind of dominated, and they're the ones who came out with a hijab. But if you notice, even walking down the streets here, the majority of Muslims only wear burqas.
Mm.
They don't wear hijabs. They don't wear.
Yes.
They only wear the
So
headscarf.
just wear the thing.
exactly.
Yeah, it's quite striking when you see the
exactly
full.
the full. It's very rare
Yeah.
here, especially. I don't think I've seen many at all. So literally the main the way Islam's changed, I'd say, is they've kind of adopted a more headscarf approach.
Yeah.
Rather
Okay.
than full.
Just becoming
Yeah.
more liberal, like a lot of
more-
religions. I
exactly.
suppose. Yeah.
So it has changed over time, but the like I said, the way it's portrayed here to where it's portrayed back home is completely different, and it's very, very interesting when I go every single year and I see the differences between the two.
So why do you feel a religious life is beneficial?
It's all about belief, I think, to be honest with you, in the sense that you have your beliefs that if you pray 5 times a day,
Yeah.
if you stick to your sort of your principles, the way you grew up,
Yeah.
that'll all come back to benefit you. God will give you kind of more of a benefits. He'll make you what you want come true. Do you know what I mean?
When you talk about a disciplined life as well, which prayer and Ramadan, like that's
Yeah.
all discipline.
Of
Yeah?
course it is.
That gives an immediate benefits anyway, even if
Yeah.
you're not doing it religiously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
of
so if
course.
I lay off sugar and stuff, I tend
Exactly.
to feel better
Exactly.
and my life is better.
Exactly,
You know?
yeah, for example, with Ramadan, obviously you tend to lose weight most of the time because
Yeah.
you're not eating or drinking. Do you know what I
Starving,
mean? You're starving yourself. So there's benefits to it, even if you don't believe in the religion aspect.
Yeah. Do you drink alcohol?
I don't know.
You never drink alcohol?
No, I've never drank alcohol.
What do you think of the Irish culture with that? Because it's funny,
Yeah,
like, if you're
it's
stigmatised as being a Muslim in Ireland, I can't imagine how like, these fuckers are
Yeah.
judging me and look at them, you
But
know.
you see,
Like,
the alcohol thing about it is that Ireland is kind of on its own in my opinion, in terms of the rest of the world. Because everyone here, if you don't drink, you're a freak.
Yeah, I
you know, you're not
yeah.
part of the social
No,
norm.
that's a stigma here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's
you
the
think
thing.
it's bad being a Muslim.
Yeah.
Like, at times, yeah.
That's exactly it. But how do I find out? Do you know what? I get on with it. I mean, when I go on nights out, for example, with my mates, I'm the one who gets bored at 1 o'clock. And
you go home.
they're all having it, and I just go home and I'm
Disappear
fine.
into the night.
Exactly, yeah, because the music's so loud, I can't have a chat. Anything's annoying, and they're all drunk. It's ridiculous. But they say it's a bit of crack. Everybody's entitled to what they want.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's
To be honest.
And what about sex before marriage in Islam? Is that
Again, it's a more principle thing. You know, I don't believe in it because Islam says no. So so it's important, as I say. There's loads of people out there who kind of pick and choose their rules.
yes?
Do you know what I mean?
Quite strict.
Exactly. So what do you mean by strict? I mean it's so subjective. And I just believe that these are the rules that are set in stone. You either follow them or you don't. It's as simple as that. So you either go yes or no. You can't just go, yeah, well, I know a Muslim friend, I'm not going to catch him out now on the camera, but in Trinity, but he drinks and he says he's Muslim. So pick one.
Yeah,
don't do both. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
pick one. I mean, Islam says you can't drink. Then if you drink, you're not Muslim. In my opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's like anything else. Any other set of rules that you do. I mean, you go into college, it says, don't drink coffee, everybody breaks it. But don't drink coffee, well, that's breaking a rule, isn't it? So you're going to get penalised, you're going to get fined, for example. So.
And what about homosexuality in Islam?
Homosexuality, so. I think this is a big one. This is the challenging one for me, to be honest, because I don't think it's right. Okay?
Homosexuality,
yeah. And I don't. Transgender, same thing. I don't think it's right, but I have friends that are homosexual. And that's fine. And one of my closest friends is gay. No problem. No problem with me. I mean, that's his life.
Do you guys ever talk about that? Like,
do you know what
I imagine it's quite awkward, no?
Yeah. Once it was awkward. But yeah, once I can remember a vivid picture of it. But all I say is we've kind of moved on in the sense he has his beliefs, I have my beliefs. That shouldn't affect our friendship. Shouldn't affect our friendship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right, but I won't go against him at all for it. I won't call him out. I won't say to him. I won't feel like I should say to him. That's his life. It's his choice, and it's my choice as well if I don't think it's right.
And that particular belief of yours that you don't think homosexuality is right, like I imagine that gets you into trouble sometimes.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like in the society we live in now,
especially here,
we're a lot more liberal, and then sometimes it can go to the point where people don't feel that you're right to that opinion. You know that you think. Do you know what I mean? Like people can be quite militant on the other side as well.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
And people probably view me differently. People view me differently. I have another friend as well in Trinity who definitely has viewed me differently ever since. And whenever we meet up, he always asks me about these topics. Change your mind. I just think, Aziz, you're so back forward. Well, you know what? I have my views. You have your views. I'm going to stick to my principles. I don't care.
That's funny. The recent referendum in Ireland, then, abortion and so on.
Yeah.
Am I safe to guess that?
Yeah.
Well, against.
No. Abortion is a bit different. Abortion is acceptable if it's medically advised, if it's medical conditions.
Which isn't going to be the case in Ireland.
Which isn't going to be. Well, in the case in Ireland, aren't they going to look into the constitution and then change the words, or is it just definitely?
Well, the campaign I think was up to 12 weeks unrestricted access to abortion, so which means non-medical reasons. Just I want an abortion, so I get an abortion. Okay.
Well, you see, abortion I think is much more nuanced. My opinion is, like I said, if it's medically advised, then it should definitely, obviously, for the benefit of the mother, definitely be allowed. If it's not medically advised, I don't think so, being honest. But I think I was surprised with the gap in the voting margin, because the way it was going, to be honest, it looked like it was going to be very tight.
Very tight.
There's a lot of people, even a lot of my friends, who voted no.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it's much more subjective, and really it wasn't. I think my issue with it, to be honest, in this country especially, I didn't vote personally, but my issue was it wasn't clear. It wasn't clear, and I know loads of people who went in and wrote on the paper literally just a massive X because they were just frustrated with the way he was going, rather than voted either way.
The paper wasn't clear that
The actual campaign, both.
Right.
Yeah, in their view,
There was a lot of
pro and against and cons. It wasn't really clear.
Kind of a head melt.
It was more of a head melt actually than the whole traveling, to be honest. That was much more clear.
Man.
But yeah, no, that's a more difficult topic, I'd say.
Yeah, I know. Grant, so I suppose maybe you touched on it earlier, the terrorist attacks in 9/11, and there was an incident in Nice, and there was incidents in Paris, and there was a million more incidents, and they're heart-wrenching, aren't they? I mean, obviously for you as a Muslim, I'm sure you look at them and it's just
But
devastating.
note what you've said, what you've asked me here. What you've said is there's been Nice, there's been France, there's been 9/11, but you don't mention the Middle East, the attacks in the Middle East, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When there's millions as well dying there. ISIS are bombing Syria, they're bombing Saudi Arabia, there's multiple countries in the Middle East, but we don't hear about it because it's a Western
far
view.
away,
it's far away. It's a Western view ultimately, and you've obviously all you read is, if you don't mind me saying,
of course.
is obviously kind of Sky News, CNN, RTE, all these kind of broadcasters that only report the kind of the Western view of it. But the reality is, ISIS are bombing the world. They're not bombing France, Europe, America.
Yeah.
So I think we have to look at a bigger picture. We're one world. We should all connect.
Yeah.
And we should all be together. Why is it kind of the vision where we're all segregated? Oh, the West are together, the Middle East are together, Far East are together. No. One, we need to stop ISIS together.
It's a good note to finish on, I think. Thanks so much, Aziz. Really
Thanks,
appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously, thank you.
I enjoyed it.
Is that okay?
Works for me.